those that have been living under a rock for the past few months, KidZone in Universal Studios Florida will be closing on January 15th. Now don't worry, E.T. Adventure is remaining, and so isn't the adjacent SpongeBob store and KidZone Pizza Place company, and for some odd reason, Animal Actors is remaining. Why? I have no idea. But everything else, such as the DreamWorks Destination Show, the Shrek and Donkey Meet and Greet, Woody Woodpecker's Nut House Coaster, and the play areas such as the Fievel Theme Play Area and Curious George Goes to Town, you know, I think another fellow YouTuber said it best when describing the name of this play area.
Are we seriously not doing phrasing anymore?
Now, for my personal thoughts, on one hand, yeah, KidZone was pretty much a long time coming for closing. I mean, the area was pretty quiet for years and didn't really offer much of anything. That and a lot of the IPs in this area are just dated. I mean, who cares about Woody Woodpecker, Fievel, and Curious George anymore? I thought so. But on the other hand, I do have some nostalgia with this area. Not as much as something like Shrek 4D or Jaws, but I do have some memories of going to this land as a kid. As I think any other Universal park goer does. But on the plus side, the rumored replacement for this land is DreamWorks. And as Two-Face put it, honestly, if this area turns out to be true, I will be happy. Because DreamWorks is my favorite animation studio. I mean, I love a lot of their films like Kung Fu Panda, Shrek, and How to Train Your Dragon. And I would just love more representation in the park for DreamWorks. I mean, yeah, it's nice that they have their own shows and meet and greets, but I want something more than that, like a ride. Yeah, we're getting that How to Train Your Dragon ride at an Epic Universe, but what about the other properties? I mean, the last time we had a DreamWorks attraction at this park was Shrek 4D, and now that's gone. But if this does turn out to be the replacement, which is very likely since population in this area seems to have increased since the additions of DreamWorks Destination and the Shrek and Donkey Meet and Greet, here's my proposal for a DreamWorks replacement for KidZone. To begin, we gotta start off with the e-ticket to this whole area of the park. That being, of course, Woody Woodpecker's Nut House Coaster. And for this one, I propose it to get rethemed to Shrek. Now, don't worry, this retheme isn't just going to be this roller coaster painted green. I have a little bit more in mind. You know, as okay as this coaster is, I think it should be a little bit longer, as my problem with it is that it's a little too short. And I think if you extended it a bit, that would help fix it. That, and you can add some scenery of Shrek's swamp to make it all the more unique from the original. That would actually be really cool. Another interesting thing to see would be if this coaster ended in a similar way to the Matterhorn at Disneyland. That being that its drop is in an area with water. Of course, it would probably be nowhere near as wet as that section of that ride, but hey, it would still be cool to see as it would really fit the swamp theme of this coaster. Then we go on to the Fievel play area. This of course could just easily get reskinned into another play area. It actually doesn't have to be DreamWorks specific. It can just be every single DreamWorks franchise you can think of, and just basically be a little mini DreamWorks water park. And maybe you could reuse some elements from the Curious George play area to make it all the more different from the Fievel one. Especially considering what I plan on doing with said Curious George play area. Next, we move on to the Shrek and Donkey Meet and Greet. This is going to remain, but it's just going to be Donkey. Now don't worry, you are still going to see a meet and greet of this guy, but we'll get to that when we get to that. As for the Donkey Meet and Greet itself, I'd have Donkey get some kind of reskin, and make him look like the one in Hollywood. I mean, that donkey looks amazing, while the Florida donkey looks like it's still from 2003. I mean, seriously, you improved Shrek's design in the parks, but yet you couldn't do the same for Donkey? Not only that, but why not take even more of a page from Hollywood and have Donkey occasionally be swapped out with Mr. Payne? Like maybe one half in the day it's Donkey, the other half it's Mr. Payne. That way you wouldn't have to have separate meet and greet areas for both. Moving on to the DreamWorks Destination Theater, I'd say the entrance stays, as that's just going to be a meet and greet for DreamWorks characters such as Shrek, Puss in Boots, Fiona, Alex the Lion, Poe the Panda, and so much more, but the show building gets demolished altogether. That way it leaves some room open to add more rides, play areas, or just even add shops and restaurants. After all, if you're going to have a whole new land, you might as well just add shops and restaurants. And now finally, we go on to the Curious George attraction. I would basically take that attraction, gut the inside of the building, and turn it into some kind of e-ticket. Whether it be a clone of DreamWorks Theater in Hollywood, or even a clone of the Kung Fu Panda ride over in Beijing. Or just a whole new ride altogether. Either option I'm fine with. And since Animal Actors is closing in Hollywood, I think eventually the Florida version will meet the same fate. And maybe that could either get turned into a DreamWorks show of some kind, or maybe even an attraction based off a DreamWorks movie. So that was my plan for a DreamWorks retheme of KidZone. Now keep in mind, this isn't official, nothing's been confirmed by Universal. This is just what I personally would love to see. And hey, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, oh well. Thanks for watching, and remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe.